Standing still is not standing still. Standing still is the absence of steps you could be taking. Guys, I hope your day is going good. It's Michael back with Men's Elevation. And today, guys, I'm going to be talking about the concept of if you're not moving forward in life, you're moving backwards. And I'm going to elaborate on why I think that this is true. So, guys, in my last few videos, I talked about the importance of having a goal and having a vision for your life, something to aim at, something that you're moving forward towards. I also talked about the importance of knowing what's behind you, the importance of knowing what your life would look like if you let all your bad habits go, and defining that hell very clearly. So I talked about those two concepts. Now, let's take on the third mindset you might have. What happens if you just stand still? Is this even possible? What about you don't move forward and you don't move backwards? What does your life look like then? Well, guys, I think that the mindset that's driving this kind of attitude is essentially saying, live in the moment and just see where life takes you. This is a mindset that a lot of people have, especially in this generation. They're not necessarily focused on the future. They're simply focused on the present, what feels good now, and not really taking the time to consider that in 5 years, your life's going to be very different. In 10 years, your life's going to be very different. If you don't plan for those two achievements, 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, if you don't have any idea of what you're aiming at, guys, I think that this is a very destructive mindset. And I think that living in the moment and seeing where life goes is driven primarily by impulse. What do I mean by that? I think that if you just want to live in the moment and see where life goes, I think that when things come that trigger cravings, such as negative habits, let's say, drugs, alcohol, pornography, foods that are unhealthy, social media, aimless social media. These are all things that when they come to you, when these things that are designed to be addictive come to you, what are you going to do if you don't have a focus that's bigger than that? It's going to be very tempting. It's going to be very tempting to participate in those habits. And I think that if people live like this, if people lived with the mindset of seeing where life's going to go and not having a focus, nothing would ever get done, guys. Think about the great people. Think about, world leaders. We got, Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, all these people. If they didn't have a focus of what they wanted to achieve, none of these, world-changing products or inventions that these people made would ever have come to fruition. None of these things would ever get done because there wasn't a clear aim. And I think that if you're living in this place where you just kind of want to live in the moment, see where life goes, not focus, you're stepping back in your life. Because all the people around you that have something to aim at, they're going to be moving forward. And if you're standing still, that's what I meant in that first quote, guys. Standing still is not standing still. Standing still is the absence of steps you could be making forward. All these people are making 10, 20, 30, 40 steps forward in their life, and you're still at step 1. That's not moving forward, or that's not non-noticeable. That's very noticeable. That's not moving forward. Guys, I think that if you want to make progress in your life, you have to have meaning. Or what do I mean by meaning? I mean incentives to do things. Meaning is essentially an incentive. You can find meaning in anything. You can find meaning or incentives to do destructive habits, right? You can find incentives to use drugs. You can find incentives to eat, a McDonald's supersized fry. You can find an incentive to do that. Why? Oh, it feels good in the moment. You're just seeing where life goes. Oh, it feels good to have that in the moment. But where does that lead? Guys, I think it's important to have the right incentives or the right meaning that aligns with your value system. And if you don't define your value system, you're going to be in a aimless place, guys. So let's brainstorm a few incentives that you might have. a lot of people in the modern world, let's say a few incentives that might not be the best, but are incentives. Money, this is a big incentive to accomplish things and to move forward on your life. Money is a big incentive. Power, this is a big incentive for a lot of people. Having social status, or a place to preach a message or have power over others, that's an incentive. Sex, that's a big incentive. The pleasure from sex is a big incentive, a driving force biologically. So these are a few incentives that drive people and can drive you to not necessarily the best things if this is the only incentive you have. These aren't necessarily destructive in themselves, but they're destructive if used for the wrong reasons. What are some more incentives, guys? I think that these are a little better to base your life around. Some incentives: purpose, helping others, and personal accomplishment. Being confident in yourself for moving forward. I think that these are 3 positive incentives. So guys, what do you think that people with strong incentives or strong reasons to do things are like? Highly competitive and highly driven. These are how these people act. If they have strong enough incentives to do things, they are driven to that end. They're driven to the goal that they perceive as valuable. So the people around you that are driven by a positive incentive will move forwards, guys. If your incentives are strong enough, you will move forwards towards them. That's the way humans respond. That's the way humans are driven. Their behaviors are driven by the incentives that they place in themselves. Guys, so I think that life is a journey of progress on the incentives that you deem to be valuable. Guys, let me unpack this a bit. This is why in my last few videos I talked about these 3 things. First thing that you need to do, define your value system. This is the very first thing. Define what you deem to be valuable in your life. What is important to you? Is helping others important? Is money important? All these things. Define all of it. Define what meaning you have in your life. Once you have this, once you have a strong value system that you've laid out and that you believe and that is relevant to you, then the next step is define your focus. Okay? Define your focus on a target that aligns with your value system. Okay? This is the next step. Define a clear focus. Then guys, in order to start making those steps towards that, you have to find incentives. That's the 3rd step. That's what I'm talking about in this video. Finding incentives to move yourself forward. Or, like I talked about in my last video, define an incentive to not move backwards, at least. Define the hell that your life could turn into so you have the incentive to move forward. Guys, it's important to have the values that you find to be valuable, that are motivating to you, a focus that lights it up in you, a focus that is meaningful, and incentives to get through the obstacles in your way. An incentive that, okay, I'm gonna eat healthy because my incentive is I feel better. Okay, that's a good incentive. Stuff like that, guys. You can brainstorm these on your own. Find the incentives that are meaningful to you, and that's the way you're gonna move forward on a goal. But guys, if you believe the mindset that if you're not moving forward, you're not moving backwards, it's wrong. It's wrong, because everybody around you that is motivated by incentives and motivated by things that they perceive to be valuable, they're going to be moving forward at a hell of a fast pace, guys. A hell of a fast pace. They're going to be moving forward. You better believe it. This world is driven by competition. High-level business. It's driven by competition. It's driven by the values that each company has. Guys, everybody around you is competing for what they want. And if you aren't moving forward, if you don't even lay out what you want, what do you think is going to happen, guys? What do you think is going to happen to you? You're going to be left behind. Guys, you all have amazing, immense potential inside you. Everybody watching this video, you have immense, immense potential. Harness it. Define what you think is valuable and start moving forward with incentives that will motivate you. Guys, I hope you found value in this. Remember this quote. Remember this quote, guys. Standing still is not standing still. Standing still is the absence of steps you could be taking. Guys, I hope you found value in this video. I hope you enjoyed. Like the video if you enjoyed, you found some value. Comment what you think. I'm always curious about what you guys think of these videos. I love seeing the interactions. I reply to everybody. I love seeing the interactions within the Elevation Nation, the community. I love to see it, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Join the Elevation Nation. We're growing strong. I got a lot of stuff I'm bringing to you guys, ideas that I want to be presenting, and I got a lot of value that I hope to be bringing to you guys. So like the video, comment down below what you thought, and subscribe to the channel, guys. And as always, stay elevated.